is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials, Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus, live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive, across from the Navy base.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay-down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
You think of your favorite shows. They're local. Folks in your neighborhood. Yeah, that's right. They're right there with you. Reporting on your weather, driving on your streets and roads, experiencing what your community experiences. They are literally your lifeline to all that matters to you. They bring you sports, your sports, the games as they happen. Your local broadcaster is there on the radio, just for you. We are broadcasters.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Hammond, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you ready? Okay, let's begin.
Trip. The Afternoon Underdog Trip. Live and local. Inside the Talk House.
Unleash the dragon.
I'm the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What does it do, Northwest Florida? You are now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're tuned in to ESPN Northwest Florida. 104.3 right here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, and as Chef Ross just typed into our Facebook comment, it is also Taco Tuesday. Let's go, man. I might have to go get me some tacos after the show this afternoon. Had a lot of hot dogs and hamburgers over the weekend, also courtesy of Caveman Rick there. Wasn't able to make it over to Boston Tim's or to Ryan Mulvey's for the Mulvey Invitational Pickleball Tournament. Boston Tim had a little barbecue over at his place, swimming, all kind of great activities. He said the next time that they're going to have a luau with a and do a whole wild hog. So I'm looking forward to that.
Right on. That sounds pretty good, Tim. Sorry I couldn't make it either. Unfortunately, my full-time job at car dealership doesn't allow for that. So
y'all was barbecuing over there.
Yeah, we were doing it over there, and like another day of burgers and dogs. So I'm just
burgered and dogged out.
Burgers, dogs, and sausages.
Yeah, Chef Ross was helping Boston Tim and them whip it up over there. He was smoking and doing all that kind of good stuff. I'm sure the food was excellent. I've never had anything from Chef Ross that I didn't like. Chef Ross is actually going to be in the building with us June 3rd. That'll be next Monday, as Coach Brian Haddad will be out and about. So we've got Chef Ross coming in the building with us. I'm sure we'll we'll find a way to talk some more about Angel Hernandez, but that is one of the big pieces of news. Also one of the big pieces of news, and again, hopefully you all had a wonderful Memorial Day and took time out of your day to remember what it was about, which was, I guess we had a call the other week. I don't know if I should be even bringing this up, but I guess someone called and said that the way that one of our commercials were, the verbiage of it, they didn't appreciate, or maybe we should have changed it up. But the Memorial Day, just a reminder, is about those who served our country and passed away in the act of serving our country. And that's why we recognize Memorial Day. It's not for the active veterans who are alive right now, even though we do appreciate every single thing that you've done. Exactly. You have a day, and that is Veterans Day. And I have no business, making the corrections of any of this, because I didn't serve. My papa did, and I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful for everyone who served in any capacity, be it military, be it law enforcement, be it EMT, whatever it is, be it teachers. I mean, very important to the integrity of our country, to the collectivity of our country, to the freedom of our country. But yes, I hope that you took a little time out of your day yesterday to remember why it is that we were able to have that off day. For those of us who weren't working, for those of us who were working, the ability to breathe, to breathe, I guess there's a lot of people breathing who aren't breathing necessarily not fresh air, free air, if you will. But yes, very thankful for the sacrifices that people have made for this country to continue on in the way that it has. And we appreciate you, and I hope that you had a great day, a safe day. Doesn't look like there was too many incidents out here, so I don't know how the traffic was out on Beachside. I was not out on the beach side. I know that I saw a few pictures from Shell Island. Looked like it was packed and jumping. I know that I probably won't be beachside this week either, because it's going to be Gulf Coast Jam, but pay attention. We might be having some tickets to give away. Even though we were talking on the Inside Drive today about Morgan Wallen, I was like, I hope he doesn't show up this year. I just got a spiteful reason for not wanting Morgan Wallen to show up this year, especially after having tickets last year. But no, hopefully y'all enjoy Gulf Coast Jam. There's no incidents, and they all four performers put on great shows for you guys. You can call in and tell me how I'm wrong at 850-215-6290. I'm David Hayes again, along with Caveman Rick. We are 100 days away from the NFL season, and with that, I'm going to give you 100 things to know, not today, each and every day, and we'll catch up on certain weekdays and when we miss shows, because Friday's show is still kind of up in the air, because I'm going to be at Emerald Coast, the Emerald Coast Middle School. We're going to be doing the Inside Drive live from QB Vision. They have a camp going on over there, so I'll be doing the show with the Inside Drive live over there. That's about an hour and a half away. That's not counting traffic, and the show ends at 1 o'clock, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to get here right on time. So unless you feel like, man, and I can get you some bodies, but we'll talk about that another day. Rick says traffic going up 231 was backed up for 6 miles Monday midday. I feel bad for our listeners that we sent up there to Atlanta. I don't feel bad for them. I'm sure that it was a great ball game to go to, but the Braves did not get it done.
And what a somber time with Acuna going down the day before the first game without Ronald Acuna for the season.
So I was listening to the radio.
I turned that game on like literally 4 seconds before he went down. Like, I turned the game on, I set the remote down, the announcers started talking, and then they were like, Ronald Acuna's down. And then they go to a cut, and he's like laying on the ground. I'm like, what the heck? Because obviously non-contact, he didn't run into anybody.
Yeah.
And then they play the replay showing where it looked like he was faking to try to steal third.
Yeah.
And then when he was going back to second and making like that juke move, that's like where the turf monster grabbed the cleat.
The dirt monster.
So the dirt monster grabbed his cleat and didn't let go, and they, I guess, heard an audible pop, too, from what we were hearing from the dugouts.
Yeah, man. Very tough situation. I was listening on the radio, too, and listening to those guys describe it, and they almost gave a little tinge of optimism as well when they're like, well, he's up on his own feet, and then you get the MRI later on that evening at 9:30 or so that he's going to be out for the rest of the season. But first, are one thing to know, the number one thing to know for the 2024 NFL season, the 105th in NFL history. It will be kicking off on a Thursday as normal, September 5th.
My birthday.
The Chiefs. September 5th is your birthday. There you go. So the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be hosting the Baltimore Ravens, 7:20 Central Time. I'm looking forward to it.
I got a futures bet already on it.
Yeah.
2.5 points, I think.
There you go, man. I can't believe that we're already 100 days away, but we got a lot of stuff to get into before that. I mean, the NCAA baseball tournament is about to start up. Women's College World Series is getting rearing and ready to go. NHL finals are right around the corner. It's a little bit different than the NBA finals because we actually have some competition going in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. NBA finals, they start June 6th. Are they going to wait all the way till June 6th to start playing? I mean, are they going to give these teams essentially a week off? Because tonight, if the Dallas Mavericks take care of business against the Minnesota Timberwolves, then that's 2 sweeps in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference Finals.
I get it, like, you know, having a start date and you have to be in these buildings logistically to set these matchups up. But yeah, the schedule, the finals already a couple weeks out where you could potentially have sweeps. I don't like that. I think, you know, you go until the, you know, series is over, you give them a couple days and you start it right up, man. And that's just how it goes, dude. And, you know, if it doesn't technically work out or your plans because you want to have certain, like, you know, nights or you want to schedule the games out for certain nights so you don't have competition or whatever. I get it's a TV show, but these
I think more
they play with rhythm, you know, and used to like the same kind of like regimens. And then now we're going to give them a big long break. I don't like that, man. I just don't.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if they start any earlier. I don't think that they will just because TV, all of that good stuff. I don't know if it has as much to do with, you know, trying to make sure that they're the main event, if you will, or that they're not going up against. With the NBA,
NBA always schedules their games instead of like hockey every other night, right? NBA will have sometimes 3 or 4 days in between for no reason other than, hey, we want to have this game on Saturday night.
All right, but what competition is the NBA facing though?
I don't know, but I'm just
that's what I'm saying. So like you don't have anything that's really backing up what you're saying though. It's just a bunch of thoughts.
Okay, so like, do you not think a Saturday primetime is more beneficial than say like a Thursday primetime game?
Okay, what I mean again though, I'm just saying for the NBA, more or less where I would go with it. And again, it's the same as you. There's nothing to back this up. I would wonder if it's more concerts that are going to be in the buildings rather than the conference. Because I don't know what is anything else like. The NBA outdraws the NHL. The NBA outdraws the WNBA. The NBA outdraws college baseball. The NBA. You see what I'm saying? Like the NBA is the NFL right now.
Another night. They would still probably rather have a weekend night over a weekday night. I've seen where the NBA in the past has done this before, where instead of going every other night for no other reason other than, hey, you know, we probably just want to have it like on a weekday night or a weekend night where we can space these games out where it's a little bit easier for maybe people to catch the games. We're doing
June 6th is a Thursday.
Okay.
So your whole thing is talking about wanting to get them started on a weekend or something, and the day's a Thursday.
No, I didn't say about starting it on a weekend. I said like when they schedule games out in the past before, like in the middle of a series, where instead of like again hockey games, it's every other night. They don't break that repetition unless a building cannot be used for a concert or some other thing that was like a preordained thing that was going on.
Okay, NBA, well, I guess I'm just confused about your argument.
A bunch of the stuff that I've seen throughout the years, it appears to me that they're not using that as like the buildings being used. Like I said, typically right now concerts, this is like the outdoor time for concerts, not inside. That's more like in the winter time. Okay. This is an outside, you know, concert time, spring, summer, you know, what have you. For TV and just being a TV show, I feel that the NBA gears their scheduling on particular nights based off of whatever they can get the best viewership.
Hey, great to be here, guys.
Hey, what's up, Max? Delighting in the building. Hey, Caveman, can we turn me down a little bit? I sound a little bit too hot in my headphones.
I don't mean to break up the contentious argument here.
No, go ahead, brother.
A lot of leagues suck at scheduling, and I think the NBA actually probably does the best job of it, at least NBA playoffs do. There's no really rhyme or reason for the NBA Finals. I know this year it's going to go Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday. It's basically a 3-day gap every time. Where NHL, there's a day gap for the Stanley Cup Finals, but when it's a travel day, it's a 3-day. So it'll be like, I don't know, the first one's like June 8th or something, then the 10th, and then the next one on the road is the 13th. I don't know. I think the NBA at the start at least does a phenomenal job. Like, I love
trying to get as many games as they can in.
Like how they have every night there's a game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it great. They keep it rolling, and I think for the most part they do the best at scheduling. I think the NFL still needs to work on that a lot. And then baseball.
Wait, the NFL? You think the NFL needs to work on it?
Yeah, sometimes.
All right.
Sometimes I think they. So it's tough because you can't always gauge a team that's going to break out. Like, say, the Lions this year. If you want, you could have said the Lions are going to be good, but not as good as they probably you expected them to be or something.
Right.
But like, it's hard to gauge power games. But sometimes the NFL kind of stacks a slate, and then you get, and it's geographic, so I get it too. But sometimes those 305, 325 games can pretty much all be lags besides maybe one game. Whereas you get an action-packed noon slate, and then you're just kind of, a treading through till Sunday night football, if that makes sense. Like, don't get me wrong, I love football. We love betting.
Oh, yeah,
we love
but
fantasy, but like, getting up for the Cardinals, Rams sometimes isn't, necessarily ideal versus you have the Chiefs against, I don't know.
Yeah, then they would just be flex scheduling all the time at that point. And it is tough, but I think sometimes you can take the silver linings in those slow Sundays and be like, hey, look, if I don't got anyone in fantasy playing, I'm about to actually take a little 3-hour break from watching football, whereas normally I'm on the couch from whatever, you know what I mean?
And like this year, I know it was really bad because of all the quarterback injuries, but like we kept getting like the Giants or the Jets, and I know it's a New York market on Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Like, I think there was like maybe 5 or 6 weeks in a row where the Monday Night Football game was horrendous. Like, it was like bad. Like, it was like Cardinals Bears or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, even if the stars aligned, where did you see this being a good game? Like Cardinals Bears was not going to be a good game preseason, and they I don't know.
Cardinals Bears, because if we're talking last year, right? Kyler Murray being out, maybe because the teams were the Bears outdid at least my expectations and most people's expectations for them last year.
Is that who America wants to watch on Monday night after a long day of work? Probably not. This year, maybe.
No, but I think the NFL also has something that no one else does, which is it really doesn't matter what is on the TV. Yeah, it's gonna get watched,
right? But I'm saying like they're underutilizing their asset to an extent.
But if it was perfect, then it would give no one anything to complain about.
But I would argue the NBA is perfect.
Okay,
I think how they do it, like we haven't had
where the argument started though, or the debate rather, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. What we were talking about was, and let me just make sure that I'm correct or make sure I'm not adding anything to what you were saying, is that you were saying that the NBA wants to have, I should have printed out a show sheet for you. It's all good because I've got one over here. All right, so the NBA, like, it's not a comp. I was thinking what you were saying is that they wanted to make they spread their scheduling out to make sure that they're the best thing on TV.
They purposefully schedule themselves to the spots where they just want their spots to be in.
Okay, doesn't every league kind of
do
that?
Because like I said, the NHL, when they start a series, it's every other night. Unless that building is being used for something on a particular night that's already scheduled, then it'll be the very next night. But they don't just
the NBA, though,
they go every other night.
But Matt, all right, so
Monday,
we've got
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, you know what I'm saying? Tuesday, Thursday, like it's every other night.
For the most part.
Unless the building's being used. And it's like, it's in unison. It's like you can pretty much bet your money on that there's going to be a game.
And you had, the
NBA doesn't do it that way.
First round, I can't remember which team it was. Maybe Minnesota so I guess that would be second round. Minnesota and Denver, where they played, like, it was like 4 days before they played this another game. But yeah, I guess I get what you're saying. I disagree for the most part, just because I think the NBA's got it's.
What's wrong with going with just the every other night thing though? Like, how is that wrong? Like,
I know I'm not saying that it's wrong. I just don't think that the NBA is going to do that, and it would make more sense for the NBA to do that because it's, I would say, less on a player's body than what it is in the NHL.
Hockey, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So if an NBA is doing that, I mean, like, come on, dude. There's really no good reason for it other than, hey, we just want to play a game on this particular night on this network.
No, well, there you have it, though. Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. So that would make
Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
For the
NBA Finals. And they're not going to be moving up at all. So it'll be June 6th, regardless of a sweep tonight or not. And Dallas can more than likely get it done. But the Braves, again, back to them real quick. Acuna out for the season. I'm not sure how Alex Anthopoulos is going to be able to fix this time. I've seen a few trade candidates out there. A lot of people are talking Kevin Pillar, who's over there with the Angels. You know, Ron Washington is the manager over there. Kevin Pillar has been pretty hot lately. The last time that Acuna was injured, who'd they bring over? Jorge Soler, Jock Peterson, Eddie Rosario, and Adam Duvall. Now, this is given an opportunity for Adam Duvall to get into more of a full-time role. He'll be out in right field tonight with Kelenic in left and Money Mike getting the leadoff in center field. What do you got?
Hey, why don't you guys go to your farm system? Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, no, the 26th best farm system in baseball. And I don't even know if that ranking is still legitimate for them. So, no, I'm not entirely sure what's going to end up happening. But, you know, Sean Murphy's back as of yesterday. Austin Riley's back as of yesterday. I don't want to hear no Braves fans talking anything about the Phillies' easy stretch that they had. And this isn't sticking up for Caveman Rick. I could care less about that side of it. No, I'm just saying, like, the Phillies, a lot of people were like, oh, look at what they were doing. You know, look at the teams they were playing. All right, well, the Braves have started off this stretch against this easy schedule tragically as bad as you can, and that's without the Ronald Acuna Jr. injury. And then you make Sunday look a little bit better with an 8-1 win or 9-1 win, whatever it was, over the Pittsburgh Pirates. But we got absolutely trounced in game one. I mean, the sky is not falling. The end of the world is not here, or the end of the season is not here for the Atlanta Braves. It's just crazy how people talk, you know, so much trash about a team when they're doing good against bad teams, but when a good team is doing bad against good teams, when the good team is doing bad against bad teams, there ain't nothing to be said there. Not a good start last night against the Washington Nationals, right? 8-4. Charlie Morton getting mortified yesterday.
It might be cooked.
It might be cooked, yeah. So if it ain't Chris Sale or Ronaldo Lopez or Max Free going, which luckily he's going tonight, the Braves just.
Chris Sale?
I'm loving that, man.
I don't know if you want to table this later, but you know, say the Braves do go out and win the World Series like we talked about maybe this weekend without Acuna again. So does that open the door to say, hey, let's trade him, see what we get? Obviously, addition by subtraction. We're not winning with him. Move on.
My Cardinals friends, because obviously they hate Acuna because of him showboating in that divisional series like 2 or 3 years ago. Whatever. St. Louis hasn't won in a while. It's like the Yankees.
Yeah. Hold on to the past.
Yeah. And they were like, as soon as Acuna was ruled out for the year, they're like, wow, congrats to the Braves on the World Series.
I mean, that was the first thing that I started seeing. Like, as soon as that injury update came out, Braves fans were like, well, in 2021, when Ronald Acuna Jr. was out, what did they do? Win the World Series. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit different of a makeup of a team then, but, you know, the odds are definitely stacked up against you when you lose your number one pitcher, or at least was supposed to be your number one pitcher in Spencer Strider. Then you lose your number one player in Ronald Acuna Jr. But Alex Anthopoulos has been in this position before. We'll see what he can do. The season's not over. They still, even if they can't catch the Phillies, they can still win the number one wild card spot. And the wild card spot has been generous to the National League teams over the last few years. So anything can happen in the game of baseball. I really think that Charlie Morton, that position position in the rotation is going to need to be figured out by playoff time. And maybe it might be by Spencer Swellenbach, who's going to be getting the start tomorrow. Now, this is not official because he still needs to be added to the 40-man roster, but according to reports, I saw this on batterypower.com. The Braves drafted Swellenbach in the second round of the 2021 draft. Then he underwent Tommy John shortly after the draft, so he didn't make his professional debut until last year, and he began 2024 at High A Rome. He had a 2.53 ERA, 34 strikeouts in 32 innings across 6 starts, and then he headed up to Double A Mississippi, and he has yet to allow a run in his first 13 innings. Best and worst of the weekend will now be moved to 440, as coming up next, it's going to be Your Minute with Max Delighten. We're delighted to have Mr. Delighten. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
And if you look at Warren Spahn's first year in baseball, it was pretty disastrous. And it looked like he was going to be sent back down to the minors. And instead, he went and joined the Army and went off and fought in World War II and came back and then worked his way back into the majors and then had this amazing, 20-plus year career.
Middays 11 to 1. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day, sunny and a temperature of 89 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the west. Clear skies tonight, a light breeze and warm near 74. Mostly sunny and 90 tomorrow. 88 and some sun with a light breeze Thursday. Friday, mostly sunshine and a temperature about the same at 86. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Allgaier capitalizes on a rare opportunity. I'm Kyle Rickey. That story next on NASCAR Hot Pass.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, race fans, Quarter of the Joy here. Join Ryan Flores and myself for Stacking Pennies every week. I'll break down my race and everything that happened on the track right out of my windshield.
Plus, we give out the dogs of the week for the best pit crews and pit crew guys and go in depth for all the money stops, pit road woes, and penalties.
You never know what guests are going to stop by the Nonsense Garage, but you can listen to Stacking Pennies every week on your favorite podcast platform, SiriusXM Channel 90 on Tuesdays, and the full YouTube version drops on NASCAR Channel on Wednesdays.
Justin Allgaier filled in for Kyle Larson on Sunday night at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, finishing 13th in the Coca-Cola 600 in the number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet. Larson had just landed in Charlotte from Indianapolis to get in the car just as the rain started to fall, forcing NASCAR to cut the event short at lap 249 of the scheduled 400. Allgaier says that after a rough start, his team, led by Cliff Daniels, made the adjustments needed to get back toward the front.
Cliff Daniels did an amazing job to get me kind of up to speed. We were able to look at the SMT and get the car where I needed to be at, and then just balance. We worked on the balance throughout the course of the run there.
It was Allgaier's first Cup Series start in a next-gen car on a 1.5-mile speedway. I'm Kyle Rickey. This is NASCAR Hot Pass on the Motor Racing Network.
The mission?
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Save the panhandle from boring cookie-cutter radio. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back in the doghouse. You are riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. You can give us a call at 850-215-6290. Text in your best and worst of the weekend, or you can comment them there on our Facebook live feed. But 850-215-6290. Leave your best and worst of the weekend. We're going to be going over those right after this segment. But this is Your Minute with Max with our good friend, a great lad from Allegiant Lending, Max DeLyden. Max, tell the people what it is that you do and how you can help them take it to the max.
Thanks, Dave. I'd be delighted to.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do single family, condo, townhomes, you name it. I'm happy to help you out. And especially, I know a lot of people don't want to be renting. We're happy to help them out. So
there you go.
Can do for you.
And he will do a great job, as you always see it on Facebook if you're friends with Max DeLyden, or if you follow Allegiant Lending on Facebook. Lots of great posts put up there, and we appreciate him coming on and talking some sports with us. The biggest piece of news yesterday for baseball fans, I think trumps everything, right? It's funny that I just brought in the word Trump into that, with the post that you shared earlier. I think we've got to dive into that just because it's so funny. Yeah, read that post that you said. And this is circling around Angel Hernandez retiring.
If you've listened to Dave and myself, you probably can guess one way or the other how we feel about things. But anyway, it was
I'm
just a meme.
I'm a fence rider.
It's just a meme with different presidents and their time in office, and so it says their religion, which we won't name all that too.
Do it.
Bill Clinton, Protestant, 8 years of allowing Angel Hernandez. George Bush, Protestant, 8 years of allowing Angel Hernandez. Barack Hussein Obama, Sunni Muslim, 8 years of allowing Angel Hernandez. Donald J. Trump, Protestant, 4 years of allowing Angel Hernandez. Joseph Biden, Catholic, classic Catholic W here, stopped Angel Hernandez in 3 years. However you want to feel about that guy, that might be his one victory, and he can ride that one home, because no more Angel Hernandez is a net victory for baseball.
Round of applause for President Biden right there. How shocked were you when that news came out?
I think
mid-season?
Definitely got to be some hush money from the MLB. It's just gotten to the point where umps have been so bad this year, and they keep getting worse, and that's never a good sign for a multi-billion-dollar industry if your people that are servicing the league are bad. Basically, if you're a ref or an ump and people know your name, unless you're absolutely historic, there's maybe one in the English Premier League, Mike Dean. If you've played FIFA, he's the ref all the time.
Hercules got the guns he's known for in football.
Yeah, and hockey. But Mike Dean's actually a good ref. But anyways, for the most part, outside of ones like Ed, if you know the ump, like Joe West, Angel Hernandez, it's because they're terrible. So Angel Hernandez is probably going to go down as the worst ump ever.
Here's a question. I saw that it was so he just retired immediately, but he hasn't umped a game since I think it was May 6th or 9th. So was he on some kind of suspension or anything like that in the meantime? And maybe this is where this came from? Because he's been MIA for the last 3.5 weeks, it sounds like.
Could there be a health, an undisclosed health issue or something too? No?
Well, I guess we might be giving Manfred too much credit, but I think he probably went through a revision class, or kind of like how you have to renew your license type thing, but he couldn't pass.
Maybe he was going to to the eye doctor, reading the eye chart, he couldn't pass that, and they were like, yeah, dude, vamos.
Yeah,
he's brutal.
I don't know. He could have 20/20 vision on some of the calls that he's made, and just be like, "What in the world are you doing?" I feel like him and Bryce Harper just had a personal vendetta against each
Bryce
other.
Doesn't like him at all.
So, who is the new Angel Hernandez. Now that
I don't know who that guy who ejected Counsell from first base and made the bad play in the Orioles game. Is it Valentine or someone else? I don't know. I don't know. I don't try to learn
so you got. I've got a top 5 list here from USA Today. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Manny Gonzalez. According to Umpire Scorecard, Gonzalez ranks in the 1st percentile for accuracy, 14th percentile for expected accuracy, and is in the 33rd percentile for consistency. And that's kind of one of the things for me is, accuracy is one thing. It's hard to get behind that plate and call balls and strikes, but have them consistently. Junior Valentine.
Trash can. Go home. Touch grass.
Number 4 is Rob Drake. And again, I don't know much about Rob Drake. He's 14th percentile in accuracy, 16th percentile in consistency.
Like Max said, if you don't know the name, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Laz Diaz. I know this guy. I don't know his. So he's 24th percentile in accuracy. That's not good. Now, here's a name I feel like is instant to stand out. CB Buckner. No?
Because of Buckner?
No, CB Buckner, no, because he wears the catcher style helmet. But he's one that he's 2nd percentile in accuracy, 2nd in expected accuracy, and 25th percentile in consistency. And then number 1, they have Hunter Wendelstedt. So we'll see, man. It's really. What's that?
Joe West, the GOAT.
Joe West, the GOAT, but he's gone too. So
that's good. Brick by brick.
Hey, brick by brick. Getting closer to those robotic umpires, baby.
Yeah. Either way, I'm glad Angel Hernandez is gone. He retired on Memorial Day, and no one will remember him.
Well, no, he will definitely be. You don't think
he won't be memorialized?
There you go.
I think in a couple of years, people will be forgetting the name, or you give it like a handful of years, because there'll be something else people will be griping about, and then we'll be talking, who was that guy that was really bad at like making calls a while ago?
It'll resurrect on your Twitter feed.
Yeah. It'll live forever there.
Someone's gonna definitely put together like a top 10 montage or something of Angel Hernandez first calls.
We're gonna be 100 years old, somehow still living, and they're Twitter or whatever the new social media is gonna be like, oh, this did you hear about Robo Blockner or whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna name the robotic umps or whatever, and we're gonna be like, oh, I remember Angel Hernandez sure wasn't no angel behind the plate.
Come up with an award for the worst ump every year, and you can name it the Hernandez.
Oh, now that
Angel or something,
Umpires are kind of like politicians; they just don't really care about you. So now that they're gone,
There you go, man. What's been your thoughts on the NBA playoffs, man?
It's been good. Conference finals have kind of stunk. I think every Pacers game, Rick Carlisle should go in with the Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good step for the Pacers. I think they showed signs of skill and signs of obvious weaknesses. Honestly, I think Rick Carlisle needs to reflect on that series because 3 out of 4 probably fall on him. I know he's not playing, but could have coached it better. And Joe Mazzulla is not exactly. I mean, he's a coach, but he's not exactly X's and O's. You're not coaching against Eric Spoelstra or like.
Yeah.
He's got he was born on third base.
Ryan Daly. He's the Ryan Daly of the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Or Ryan Daly. Yeah. Ryan Day of the Boston Celtics.
And I'm really happy for him because it seems like players love him. Seems like a good guy, but come on, when you have 2 top 10 players in the league, basically.
And a revamped, not in this series, but Kristaps Porzingis.
Yep.
And Al Horford, who's 38, shooting out the gym. In game 3, but he has 7. I mean, seriously. The guy was. Do you think that Al Horford's career, he's had a great career, but imagine if he was young in this day and age's game. Yeah, because the way he shoots and just plays that position is perfect for this day and age, which I think has also helped with his longevity as well.
I saw a great tweet by the on the spheres of Twitter, NBA Twitter, some guy posted and said, if I were the Celtics, I would try to add a 7'3" rim protector to this team. And some guy whose name was Zindy Crosby, like Zins, said, are you sitting down? Because they have Porzingis.
Oh, man. But you're right, though. Rick Carlisle could have, especially, what was it? I'm thinking it was game 3, but really in every game that they had the lead, game 1, game 3, game 4, where it's late, they're coming up the court, and they're, and especially in games 3 and 4 with no Tyrese Halliburton on the floor. You got to call a timeout. You got to regroup right there and take the final shot of the game. Take the final shot of the game. Each time, it would end up in a turnover, normally caused by Drew Holiday, and then the Celtics are taking it the other way, and they're just a much better team. And with a much better team, you've got to outcoach the better team.
And I think you can't blame the refs in this series at all.
I can't at all.
I mean, one, they helped you taking off that Jaylen Brown 3. I like that. That was really good reffing, too. Right when he shot that, too, you see the ref running back down. He said, like, you got to review that. And it got subtracted, obviously. But and not calling a flagrant on Brown. It was... I actually really liked how the ref said it, how he's like, although unfortunate, it was not a flagrant foul. And I do agree with that call. I think, it's a basketball play. If you've played basketball, it's probably happened to you at some point, especially if you're a guard trying to grab a board. McConnell had a great series. He was scrappy, just like, was it Doc A who said? Doc A. Yeah. He did play well and exceeded my expectations. A lot of it, too.
He played, honestly, for being as small as he is.
Pancake, he was a little rattly. He shouldn't have shot. I kept calling him a slashing merchant because he just passes the ball and he slashes. And
and then he has that, right around, like, that mid-range little floater type deal. He does.
And like, he doesn't have to worry because it's the 4th or 5th best defender on the court guarding him. So like, you can be a little cheeky,
A little cheeky.
So but Pacers need to make a few moves. If they want
the biggest one is re-signing Pascal Siakam, right?
They need to.
Yeah.
I mean, he was probably the biggest reason they were in every game this series.
100%.
I mean, obviously, Halliburton game 1, can't take that away from him. It was nice to see him look like himself. But if I'm them, you got to re-sign Pascal. You probably need a more viable guard or scorer, too, to help Halliburton out. Turner is streaky, I would say. I think he's good, but he's streaky.
Yeah.
And Siakam is good, but also you don't necessarily want to rely on him as your number 2. And I don't know. It would be like a really Pacers move, honestly, to sign Chris Paul or something. I don't think that would be the fix they need, but I could see them doing that.
I would welcome that.
Yeah.
But so let me ask you this. Do you think this season for the Indiana Pacers was more flash in the pan, like this is kind of a one-off deal, or do you think this is a stepping stone of maybe another season or two, like they maybe the window has opened for them?
It's hard to say because the NBA has more turnover league to league or conference to conference than any other league. I would say it's a stepping stone, and also it's really both because this is probably the worst the East will ever be for a little bit, with all the injuries just between Giannis going down for the Bucks, between Brunson, everyone just kind of getting hurt or dinged up.
Yeah.
I mean, the Sixers a little bit. It's probably the weakest the East is going to be for a little bit, so they need to make moves. I think they capitalize on their situation. They honestly should still be playing in this series, but it is what it is.
It is what it is on the Western Coast, Western Conference side of things here. Dallas and Minnesota going after it for Game 4 tonight. Dallas wins. It's all but over. What do you think happens in that game tonight? And then we'll ask the same question about Minnesota.
I think Dallas is going to finish it off.
Yeah.
They made Towns look obsolete. Edwards, although he's super fun, he's we got to slow on the comps on some of these guys. He's super explosive. And I know he says, basketball's not all scoring, which he's right, but it's also not being super inefficient, making turnovers down the stretch. Like,
even though you're leading your team in points, you're taking a lot of shots from other people as well that might be putting those shots in.
And that turnover, I think it was it Game 3 or Game 2, was brutal. I think it was Game 2, maybe. That pass with like 35 seconds left where he just threw it out.
I think that was Game 2, but I don't know. That series has kind of just been merging together.
It was Game 2 because then Luka hit the 3 on Gobert.
Yeah.
Which that should never have been a switch. Luka's been absurd, and Gobert is, dude. Yeah, I can't say this word on air, so I would say Gobert is the league-wide wussy.
There you go.
Make your
you could
said that.
He is French.
He is French, yeah, so he's very soft to begin with. But dude, he might be, the league's defensive player of the year, but I would take Wembanyama on that switch at 10 times out of 10. I don't trust Gobert. He's way more flat-footed. He's not even Embiid. Embiid is a much better perimeter defender than Rudy Gobert, and I think Rudy Gobert has been exposed for his limitations that come with him. He's not all that. And the Wolves are a really fun story, and I don't really know who their number 3 player is at this point. I would say Jaden McDaniels, and Naz Reid has made a good case this series as a 6-man, but the Gobert experiment was good, but not great, I would say. I think when, he gets capped like this, I mean, he's not going to hit a floater like he did against, against Minnesota. Yeah, this series all merges together. Like when he had that, that was Denver. He hit the floater against Denver.
How did he hit a floater against himself?
Against
Practice!
Yeah, it's still in the Jazz in my head. No. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's pretty funny if you look at odds too. If it were to be the Wolves or the Mavs, Boston's -225 to win the finals.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dallas is the best shot, even though they don't match up as well defensively. They've tapped in ever since, when Cole was on too, he was saying Luka doesn't play good defense. I think he's reverse jinxed Luka into playing good defense because Luka's been a great defender this series. And it's been fun to see Kyrie hit the big shots too. I think this is the happiest and best we've seen Kyrie since that Cavs team that won
I think
in 2016.
That Luka's a little bit different of a superstar. Cries just like every other superstar for fouls, maybe even more so. I would say and that's why for me, I love him in the game. I love watching him. But I love what he's able to do. I love to root against him though, just because he's such a crybaby, bro. And he's just not like your normal athletic basketball player. He's sneaky athletic he's like hide and seek athletic, but he's really good at the game, and so I think that part is fun. But for me, he's just one of those guys I like to root against, and I think for Kyrie, he's probably been one of the easiest superstars for him to mesh with on the court. Not about getting along with outside or off the court, all of that good stuff. I just think that their games mesh well together, and also with the maturation of Kyrie Irving, it's also helped them as well. So same question that we asked about Indiana for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Is this a flash in the pan season for them, or is this a stepping stone in the right direction?
I'd say stepping stone in the right direction. I think
it would be, and I agree with you, but it's even more so hard. It's harder in the West than it is in the East, right?
It's a gauntlet. It's just how it dices up and who matches up well with who.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think they've been impressive, and knocking out the reigning champs is never a short feat, especially on the road. In Denver, that's one of the toughest places to play and win at altitude. So I'll buy into them. Their offseason is going to be crucial, and I think they have a better chance at a finals winning a finals than the Pacers. But I think this is good for the Pacers. They've been in basketball purgatory for so long, and that anywhere from 4 to 8 seed where it's they made it, but how much of a threat are they really? And I feel there was definitely some optimism there for them that going into this series, and it's too bad their balloon got popped. But
hey,
and I used to not root for Luka too, like you're saying, because of all that nonsense. But ever since that Suns series 2 years ago, because Devin Booker might be one of the most overrated players in the league, I'm so glad he just went at him the whole time. They were up 30 at half or something in the game 7 in Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
and he was
it a full 30?
That was another Luka F-bomb moment.
Yeah, I mean, again, just for some reason, I just root against him. Not in a sense. I would love to see Dallas beat Boston in the I really don't care. That's just going to be a series that I'm just going to sit down and watch. If it's Dallas and Boston, if it's Minnesota and Boston, I would root more for Minnesota than Boston. I would root more for Boston than Dallas. But also, when Dirk was there, they were a fun team to root for, and I was a Dwayne Wade fan. Pacers is my team, but I always liked Dwayne Wade. But then when they add LeBron, it was kind of I'm just a big fan of just what he's done, at Marquette.
He is on my like fraud Chicagoan list. He's like Isaiah Thomas, exiled from the city.
Why is that?
Just such a fake, like, oh, I love Chicago guy. Went to Miami. LeBron was going to come on the decision. Dwayne Wade got him out of it last second to not go to Chicago.
But you guys got him later.
Yeah. For a ripoff, like $23 million a year to suck. So
I don't blame you at that.
I can't stand Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
I think he's a big time like fake person on camera. Like just one of those guys that when the cameras go off is not the same person.
Yeah.
And then, not to bring the whole family matters into it too, but his wife is kind of too. She was on America's Got Talent for a season, and basically all the judges were like, we're not coming back if this lady's still a judge. like you're Gabrielle Union. What were you in, like, what, that cheerleading movie? Like,
I don't know very much about movies or anything like that.
I mean, claim to fame is being married to Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like she's in my like Mount Rushmore of people. Like I could care less about what they have to say. Her,
but if you've got someone on a Mount Rushmore of something like that, that's
insufferable people. Yeah.
Mount Rushmore of insufferable people. That sounds like a Caveman Rick segment right there.
It'd be tough for me to pick only 4.
I can't stand Dwayne Wade. I gotta be honest, but like he I really feel about Lucas probably how I feel about Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, but see, my things with Luca are specifically on court.
Mine are on and off court with Wade. He's like Isaiah Thomas is to Chicago. Like,
I don't think that I have like there's any player, because I don't normally follow these players off, like I don't care what happens off the court. Like, obviously there's certain lines that you don't cross and whatnot, like from the legal standpoint, all of that good stuff. But at the end of the day, like I've got, like, people always talk about separation of church and state. Like for me, it's like the whole Harrison Butker and kicker or whatever. It's like so many people agree with his statement and everything, but then if another athlete says something that they dislike, it's like shut up and dribble. But when someone says something that they like and other people are telling, it's like, so for me, it's like I just try to keep all of that stuff, like that's why it hasn't even been brought up on the show until then. And yes, I do agree with most of what he ended up of what Harrison Butker said, but I'm just not that type of person that like that stuff matters, because on this show sports matters,
right? And that Harrison Butker thing, the only thing I'll say on that is it's everything that's wrong with our society is people making it about them and making like these like TikTok montages of like putting the Kendrick Lamar song, like, I don't know if you've seen all that. There's probably thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of girls posting TikToks where it's like a collage, and it's the Kendrick Lamar, I hate the way that you talk, I hate the way and it's just Harrison Butker at the end of the collage after like someone's like saying like master's degree, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, first of all, this was at a Catholic school directed to Catholic people about Catholic values. Second, if you listen to the whole speech and don't get the MSNBC clickbait version of one sentence out of context, it was not. It was saying his wife is saying that her greatest success.
See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, I didn't care.
Exactly. No, it's just saying that it's like, like is being a great mother. And he's like, I'm successful because of her.
Right.
And so if people listen to that, it's like, okay, maybe he's not a bad guy. Like,
And the whole point that I'm trying to make of it is like when any athlete speaks on things that are not in their sport or whatever, right? You've got the one side of people who lift them up and it's like, oh, glad that he's talking about this. And then you have the other side that's like, shut up and do your job or whatever. And then when it's, the opposite roles reversed or whatever, you have the same exact thing. It's just different sides saying different things. And it's just funny to me as someone who's like, it's all a bunch of bull crap, to be honest with you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like athletes should be allowed to say whatever it is that they've got to say or whatnot, but people put more weight when someone popular or more famous is saying stuff. Like if I was actually popular in this area, then I would have to watch on what I say a lot more. But because I'm not, but they don't see my face, boy. They don't see my face.
Up on Facebook right now, ESPN Northwest Florida. I will text you Richard
they don't need
Marcus's
your face,
address.
Though. They got your name though.
They got my name. There you go.
Like I say, man, as a human being, especially as a man, all you got your name and your word, man.
Yeah.
If your name and your word ain't no good, well, you probably ain't no good.
Well, and like I'm sitting here saying though, is like I said, everyone's got their own way of thinking though, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, is a lot of people just get bogged down into the way that they think, and that's it. And I just try to take it all in.
Yeah,
take it all in.
And if you don't like Dave, you can text me. I will, for a price, give you his license plate number, phone number, and much more private info about David Hayes.
There we go.
If you don't like him, man, you got some issues, man.
Yeah, if
He's
you don't
a
like
pretty
David,
likable
David
person,
Hayes is
man.
everything that's right with the world.
Oh, come on.
If you don't like David Hayes, well,
we're going to take a break.
Pick with you.
We're going to take a break. Well, we pretty much already marched through the whole entire next segment as well, but you got to go, or you got 7 more minutes left?
7 more minutes.
All right, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs trivia when we get back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
Tembo, I just sent you a text.
What is your nephew naked?
I wrote named. What is your nephew named? Gideon. I know that, but it auto-corrected to naked is the point I'm making. I typed in what is your nephew named, and you received naked. Now, that's a really weird freaking question for me to ask. This is going to come back to bite me in a bad moment.
Greeny. Weekdays on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day, sunny and a temperature of 89 with wind 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the west. Clear skies tonight, a light breeze and warm near 74. Mostly sunny and 90 tomorrow. 88 and some sun with a light breeze Thursday. Friday, mostly sunshine and a temperature about the same at 86. This is your Tuesday's weather brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover the new Kia during the Summer Sticker Sales event going on now at Billburn Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Billburn Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillbirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Now enjoy the view this summer because the road is yours in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per month per 1,000 financed and 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 7/8/24.
When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Get on your knees!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
850-215-6290 is the number to call if you want to call in, talk to Max, Caveman Rick, or myself. This is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. They had the EPL final this weekend, right? FA. What's the difference in
Just another cup in England.
So this was, is it, how big of a deal is it? Like, is this like
it's like a little, it's basically like winning the in-season tournament.
Okay, so the NBA in-season tournament.
Teams
okay.
I don't know.
So Manchester United taking down Man City isn't like the biggest deal in the world outside of for bettors, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday, though, Dortmund, Madrid, Champions League final.
Oh, yeah? Who won?
And this Saturday.
Oh, it's coming up.
that'll
Okay.
be a good game.
What time is that? Because they're normally pretty early, right?
It should be at 2.
2? Okay.
At 2.
All right.
Let me give it.
Dude, you know what I watched?
I wanted some money on that parlay on that Man City game, too, actually. I picked Man U.
Oh, we got a heck of a caller on the line with us now. Boston Tim, you are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We got about 3 minutes. We'll go a little over for you, though, my man. What's going on, bro?
Not much, brother. Just giving the guys a holler. We were listening in, coming home from work, me and my oldest. And we just wanted to confirm that you have an army behind you if somebody has an issue with David Hayes.
Well, we're not. Max is getting all of this.
The Hayes Army.
Max will hand out your information for free, for money. I'll give out my information for free. If you got a problem with David Hayes, you come see Boston Tim.
Yeah, and you will be met with the
word.
That is not the guy
I'm
that
not
you.
going to indict anyone.
Oh man, Boston Tip, tell us a little bit about the cookout yesterday, man. What was the best meat that Chef Ross smoked up yesterday?
I mean, everything was amazing. Chef Ross is an unbelievable cook and pit master. He did a great job, especially on the brisket. I think everybody loved the brisket. It lasted about 45 seconds. I think it was a, like 12-pound cap or something like that, and it was gone. So he did a great job on everything. We greatly appreciate him, just as we do you, David.
Tim, how many games is going to take Boston to win this series?
We're going to win it in 5. We're going to get blown out one game probably by I'm thinking probably 18, but we're going to win all the other games.
And who's going to be the finals MVP?
Oh, yeah.
Probably Tatum.
And is Tatum a superstar?
He's already a superstar, regardless of what AG thinks.
Okay, good.
Ooh, with the live call out, put a stamp on it, baby. That's how you know this man works in the ring.
And his perspective.
Tim knows ball.
I think everybody else in the world that's a realist realizes that he is definitely a superstar. He may not be the face of the NBA coming forward in the future, but he's certainly a superstar.
Well, I agree with that, and it's tough, when your city doesn't have an NBA team and you have to root for the Bengals and Reds. Your vision gets blurry and you can't see things well. So, I don't blame you at all, Tim. I totally agree.
I appreciate that. Hey, God bless you guys and have a great day.
All right, you too, buddy, man. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, the great Boston Tim, the voice of Impact Promotions and Beat Down at the Beaches, Gladiator Promotions, Impact Fight League. Man, if you guys, again, I got to find out when the next event is going to be here. I believe they're in Birmingham for their next event. It could be over there in Fort Walton. I'm sure that I'll be getting a text here in about 30 seconds or so. Let me know. But if you've never experienced Timothy Vermette in the ring,
it's electric.
Is it not, bro? And
No,
the way that he interacts with the crowd and just keeps everything going. You want to talk about
and check out the wardrobe.
suits.
Yeah, the wardrobe, the shoes, the
From
socks.
the tip of his head to his toes, man. And somehow, some way, him and his beautiful wife, future wife, fiance now, Victoria, are somewhat matching in a way too. And and Rob and Shelby do a great job putting on those events as well. We're so appreciative for those who do so much for our community here in the beautiful county of Bay County.
It's a great production too. You see some really good fights there, and I mean, we're really lucky that we have this hosted here.
We really are, because I don't know how many of you out there, and I know we have a lot of them. I know we even have listeners who go to the movie theaters to watch UFC events and whatnot. And I like the UFC too. I love watching those fights on TV, UFC, but there's something totally different about being in that environment with other people who are watching the fights with you and just kind of being a part of something that's growing, because I can't tell you the last time, like, each event has grown exponentially. So it's going to be June. Well, hold on here. Got to do the whole Face ID again. I need to get a new screen protector because mine's kind of all broken. So June 15th, Fort Walton, June 29th in Birmingham. But you can also watch live on fight.tv. We've got to take a break. Max is going to take an exit. Max, as always, man, great to have you. And we'll get you back with us next Tuesday. If not, I'll figure out a way to kidnap you for another segment, my man. Helped me out this last Friday. I was very appreciative of that. We're going to ride into hour number 2, taking left turns with our guy, RJ Starcevic. We'll be right back. Keep it locked into ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida, available on all your devices.
Connected.
Hear your favorite sports talk hosts.
The Coach James Hale Show. You're listening to the Inside Drive live.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
And your favorite teams.
Braves winning!
We're live on the app. Tune in, Alexa, ESPNPC.com, Facebook, YouTube, and in your car at 101.9 and 104.3. Wherever you go, there we are. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, clear skies and a low of 75 with a light breeze around 6 miles per hour coming out of the north. For tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and a temp near 87. In the afternoon and evening, a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 88. For Thursday, mostly sunshine and a high of 87. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
That boot store has the perfect Father's Day gift for that special dad. Select from one of the largest collections of Western wear and Carhartt work clothes in the Panhandle. That boot store has been in business for 60 years and feels they've just begun. Shop that boot store this Father's Day and every day. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burr Kia, 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
And that's out of the ballpark.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Now back to the most dangerous afternoon show on terrestrial radio.
It's dangerous.
It's illegal in 5 states. The Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back for hour number 2, and this is ESPN Northwest Florida, 104.3 right here in the beautiful Panama City, and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. You guys can call or text us at 850-215-6290. As per usual, when we tend to or plan to start out a show with best or worst, or best and worst of the weekend. We just have to kind of keep on kicking that can down the road. So we're going to try to get to that at 5:40 this afternoon. So you can continue to send in your best and worst of the weekend to 850-215-6290. Now we're going to talk with the host of the Pace Laps podcast, the founder and creator of the NASCAR Report that you can find on Instagram. Type in NASCAR Report on Google and it'll be the first thing that pops up. RJ Starcevic is on the line with us, and this is Around the Track with RJ. RJ, my friend, what's going on? RJ, you there?
You there, RJ?
Hello.
Hey, there we go, my man. We had a big weekend of racing this weekend. Out of the big 3, out of the Monaco over there in F1, out of the Indy 500, and then the shortened Coke 600, which do you think was the best race of the weekend?
Man, I got to go with Indy. Coke 600 got shortened, unfortunately, so that was, unfortunate. Obviously, we wish we could have seen a full race. Monaco, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I heard it wasn't the greatest thing in the world. Monaco's never going to be an amazing racing product. It's kind of just the prestige. So Indy 500 was pretty electric, and it always is. Electric finish. I mean, what more can you ask for than two passes on the final lap, right, for the lead? 2 guys going at it head-to-head, exchanging blows. Heartbreak for Pato O'Ward, who was, almost going to get the win, but then Joseph Dugard wins the race, and that's his second time in a row winning the Indianapolis 500, which is very rare. Hard to win a race like that 2 years in a row, just like the Daytona 500. So, props to him, props to Team Penske for getting that done. But I would say the Indy 500 was certainly at least the most thrilling in my eyes.
Yeah, man, and when we'll go to let's stick there with the Indy 500 real quick. Actually, before that, I know that wasn't the only racing that you watched of the weekend. What was the best race that you watched all weekend? Was it the Indy 500, or was there an Xfinity race, truck race, anything else?
Man, yeah, that's a good question. Include Xfinity and trucks in there. I'd say the Indianapolis 500 probably was still the best, in my opinion. Just the atmosphere of that race, kind of like we were talking about last week. There's nothing that matches it. The Xfinity race was still pretty good. Had some tempers flaring in that race as well. We had Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is in that race. Chase Elliott was in that race, got the win. But I would say Indy 500 still is top of my list.
So Christopher Bell ends up getting the win in the shortened Coke 600. What do you think about the decision there by NASCAR officials to cut the race short?
I was bummed, man, and I still am. I think a lot of people were saying, a lot of my colleagues over there on Twitter were saying, like, it's unusual that you wake up the next day feeling the same way. Sometimes you get over it, move on, but we all just felt like we were taking. I mean, that was 150 laps. We still had to run, right? The Coca-Cola 600. You got to look at the situation. I was looking at the situation, right? It's a Sunday night. All right, Monday, everybody's off. We got a holiday. We're in Charlotte. We're at home. It's not like we're in California where it's like, man, these teams always got to take a long haul home. Man, Hendrick lives 10 minutes down the street, So it felt like if there was any race that we could have finished at 2 or 3 in the morning, it's got to be this race in Charlotte, one of the crown jewel races. It just felt like we should have done everything we could to get that race in. I understand, from my understanding, it was kind of more so of a TV standpoint. Fox wanting to end the race. You never know if they just didn't want to agree to air it. The rest of it on Fox. I don't care. Move it to Fox where it's won. For the rest of the night. But obviously, I know these are all decisions above me. But I certainly was bummed, and I do think that we could have, especially with all the work that they did to dry the track before that. I mean, a little humidity, it's going to take a little longer. You might as well just keep going and get that race in. If it rains again, I get it. Then we can call it from there. But the fact that it wasn't going to rain again, it was like, damn, man, I wish we could have seen a finish for one of our crown jewel races of the year. That was unfortunately taken away from us.
So with them, RJ, this is Caveman Rick, with them cutting that race down by 25%, did that help Bell win? Did that hurt anybody else from winning that race by turning what was a marathon into basically what was a normal race then?
Yeah, Caveman, I think, these races, NASCAR, like it is a marathon. It is 600 miles, 400 laps, right? But, they're divided into 100 with the stages. And you think of cautions in NASCAR, how unpredictable NASCAR can be. I don't think, it goes to say Christopher Bell would have had a great chance of winning the race, but I don't think it's a guarantee whatsoever. With the stage still remaining in the race, who knows who was on what strategy. Do I think Christopher Bell the fastest car in the race? I don't think so. But obviously he was in the right place, right time. But I think if that race goes green, I think the top 10 looks completely different, just in my opinion of how unpredictable we know NASCAR races can be.
So who do you think ends up winning that race? Who had the best car on the track? Who ends up winning if it doesn't get rained out?
I think Kyle Larson, if he gets back in the race car. Honestly, I was pulling for Kyle just for the sport and for how cool it would be. Obviously, he was running top 10 all race in the Indy 500.
Led some laps too.
Sends him back to an 18th. Yeah, led some laps staying out there, and gets speeding penalty sends him back to an 18th place finish. But damn, he got to Charlotte, right? It was the perfect scenario. They're not going to lose any laps for him getting in the car, and he literally would have had 150 laps to just go out there, a track that he did get practice and qualifying in. That Justin Allgaier, without being in a next-gen car in over a year, I believe, comes in there and drives the car all the way up to 13th. So if Justin Allgaier could do that with, no practice, no anything, I was just sitting there imagine when Kyle Larson gets in this race car. Now, I think that's a long shot.
Is that doing Allgaier wrong by doing that? Coming into a race that late? I mean, I understand, the semantics.
I don't think that it's at all doing Allgaier wrong, because that was the plan. Allgaier was there in case something like what happened with the Indy 500 being delayed a little bit. He was there just in case Kyle Larson wasn't able to make it. So instead of saying, is that doing it wrong, I think I would rather ask RJ the question, how do you think Allgaier would feel about that? You know what I mean? Because you're already driving. Yeah, I don't think that is doing him wrong, though, because it's already predetermined that he was going to do that.
In an MLB game doing really well, and you just yank him to throw somebody else in there that, you could throw out there, but leave the kid in there. He's doing pretty well.
Yeah, it is an interesting question, because that was part of the talk too, right? It's like Justin Allgaier gets in there, he's going to have a chance to go do really well, and then boom, whenever Larson gets there, you're going to take him out. I think, I know they're going to sit there, and Justin Allgaier is a great guy. I know he's a team player, and I know he's going to sit there and optimistically look at it as what, whenever he, say if he did get in the car and they did run the rest of that race, I drove that damn race car with no practice, no qualifying up to 13th, and I put I put this guy in position to chase a race win, right, after being in Indianapolis when we started this race. It is an unfortunate situation for Justin Allgaier, a guy that's been in the sport for so long and hasn't really had, that Cup opportunity in so long since he was in it back, in 2014, 2015, in that general area. But, I think at the end of the day, I know they were all on board with the team decision to get Kyle Larson in there. But I know that there's always going to be a gut punch, when you sit in there and you're like, damn it, like I wish I could have kept going. I think the baseball pitcher analogy is pretty good to use. It's like, man, like you know you're doing well, and I guess in there it's like, well, when the coach pulls you, it's because they don't want you to give up anything else after that. I think Justin Allgaier was only getting better. But I know it's definitely a little bit of a gut punch for him. I know he would have wanted to keep going in that race if it did run, but he's a team player. I know he's going to be okay with it. Man, it makes me think Justin Allgaier getting towards the end of his career. I want to see him back in a Cup car.
There you go, man. I was so excited though, just sitting there watching, trying to follow on Twitter, like when is Larson going to make it to Charlotte? Then he shows up at the airport 9:19. Then he's on his way in the helicopter, and they show him showing up in the helicopter as soon as the rain starts pouring. You're just like,
I was tracking the flight on my phone.
Yeah. Me too, man. I really wasn't. I watched, I watched a good chunk of the Indy 500. I watched a large amount of what was available of the Coke 600, and probably even more so of NASCAR content, just trying to find out when they were going to be resuming and whatnot. In fact, I guess I got off onto the wrong channel because I didn't even see that they had postponed it. And then I watched like 68 laps of Monaco. So I watched more racing this last Sunday in one day than I possibly ever have in a single day. And also shout out to Jake Finch, who did win at Montgomery Motor Speedway, passing on the last lap to get that win there. But how would you grade A to F? What would you grade Kyle Larson's Indy debut?
I would grade it probably, man, because really good is going to be that. I'd say a B plus. I think B plus just because of those lack of racing experience that he had in that race. It's so tough. Like, it's one thing to run all those practice laps, run all those qualifying laps, but it's so different when you get to the race. And so the two main things that he struggled with was restarts, firing off on restarts, right? You don't do that in practice. There's no like Daytona duels or anything like that. You just go right in. So you struggle on restarts, and then the green flag pit stops, in the middle of a race after you've run however so many laps. The first time he had to do that all race because we had caution after caution during the beginning of that race. And it almost seemed like he maybe wasn't going to have to do it, but he had to do it. And I was already queasing on that lap that I knew he was going to have to come in. I think they went on board with him. He skidded the tires, and I was like, oh, man, like, that's it. Like, in IndyCar, there's no lucky dog. It's passing in Indianapolis. You can't just go full wide and go from 18th to 5th in one lap, like you can at Daytona if you really want to. So I'd give it a B plus because I think he's going to come back next year and he's going to know Kyle Larson's a racer, right? We call him one of the best racers in the world. And so I think he's going to look at what he did wrong and he's going to fix it next year. I think he'll be back in that race next year. And I'm saying I'm going to just make a prediction now. I think he gets a top 5 in the 2025 Indy 500.
Ooh, and an opportunity to actually pursue the double, which I am so excited for him about. We got a question in from James. He wants to know, do you think JR Motorsports takes over the spots from Stewart-Haas?
So it was said today, Stewart-Haas Racing shuts down after 2024, right? A team with four cars, 4 charters, so all those charters are going to get sold off. Tony and Gene Haas will be making a lot of money from these charters, but they're no longer going to be an organization in NASCAR at least next year. So that was some news that broke just a few hours ago at 4 o'clock. But Junior Motorsports has been looking to get in the Cup Series for a while. It looks Dale Jr. had kind of said that he's not in the market for one of their charters, at least. It looks to be that Trackhouse is going to get an extra charter, 2311 Racing is going to get an extra charter, and Front Row Motorsports is going to get an extra charter. It's unknown who's going to get that 4th charter from Stewart-Haas Racing, but those 3 are currently looking like rumored to be, according to sources, where those charters are going to go. So we're going to see some other teams expanding, but big announcement today that Stewart-Haas Racing, a team that been in the series for well over a decade now, is going to be gone completely after next year. 4-car organization, so definitely a crazy development there.
So Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan's team, 23XI, are going to be getting another car?
Yes, that's the current word right now. That they just announced their big new race shop. You know, they want to be a 4-car organization in the future, and it looks like they're going to at least get to go up to 3 next year with an extra starter. So one more Toyota in that stable, and we'll see who'll drive it.
What's the chances of Denny Hamlin driving for his own team? Is that is there something against the rules with that?
There wouldn't be, because Tony Stewart did it before for his own Ross Racing, the team that is now gone. But I could see it happening. I know that's something that Denny probably wants to do at some point in the future, is drive for his own team. I know probably a lot of it's going to have to do with sponsors and this and that, but you never know. It could be a possibility, and maybe Joe Racing slots somebody in there. But we know that, both of those teams are kind of somewhat working hand in hand, so we'll see what ends up happening.
Do you think that anybody picks up the number 10 in Noah Gragson?
I think so. I think for sure Gregson has, right, last year we were really unsure of him. This year I think he's coming in and exceeded expectations by a mile. He's had some really great runs. For his team, he's been able to pick up sponsors over there at SHR. So I think there's certainly going to be, teams that aren't going to have drivers in their seats. Like we know Wood Brothers is probably doing away with Harrison Burton. Colleague may be looking for a driver, but I think they kind of have their lineup set. I think there is going to be a team out there that will sign Noah Gragson for next year.
There you go. Who is the next big thing down there in the Xfinity Series? This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line with the creator of the NASCAR Report that you can find on Instagram, RJ Starcevic. Who's the next big thing in the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, you could go with guys like Cole Custer, Justin Allgaier, right, who dominate Xfinity. They've been in Cup before, though. But if I were to go with somebody who hasn't been in Cup before, next big prospect I'd say is Chandler Smith. I think he's killing it right now down in Xfinity. He did well with Colleague Racing, moved back to Toyota this year, is doing even better. So I think that if there's a guy, certainly in the Toyota pipeline to come up, I think it's Chandler Smith. But also, he's not even in Xfinity. He's in trucks, right? But he's a Cup developmental driver, Corey Heim. Corey Heim seems to be also next up in that Toyota pipeline. So I think if I were to name the 2 best prospects right now, Toyota's got both of them, in my opinion, Chandler Smith and Corey Heim. So what better time to get another Toyota in the Cup Series than when you got 2 guys ready, I think, to go Cup racing next year.
Love it. We're in Illinois next week. What's your favorite fact about the track up there in Illinois?
Yeah, Gateway Motorsports Park is a very unique track because it, one corner drives almost like a short track and one drives like not a short track. So it's a very unique track. Turn 1 and 2 very tight. Turn 3 and 4 a little bit wider. Up north, after we've been down south for a little bit. So it's going to be fun to see how that race goes. Xfinity goes to Portland. So they go all the way over to Portland for a road course race, and then the Cup Series will be at Gateway with the Truck Series. So I'm looking forward to see how those races go as we kind of jump into the summer here, right? Almost June, so it's about to be that summer stretch.
Absolutely, and then give us your top 3 drivers, Xfinity over there in Portland. Let's start with them, and then we'll move to the Cup Series in Illinois.
Yeah, Xfinity over there in Portland, 3rd year. They're going to be at that road course that IndyCar goes to all the time. And so I'm thinking we're going to go with Cole Custer. I think he's been really good at road courses, won there last year. I'd put him in my 3. Justin Allgaier, he's got a lot of momentum, filling in for Larson with the double, but he's also pretty good on the road courses as well. And Sheldon Creed, somebody that's always up there. Those last 2 races we've had at Portland, he's been pretty strong. And then we move back up all the way up north Illinois for Gateway. I think Joey Logano can continue his momentum, at least brewing from the All-Star race. I think he won it. He's been really good at Gateway in the past. Kyle Busch, looking for him to do something. Gateway's a track he's got a lot of experience at, obviously almost won there back in 2022. So I would put him in my 3. And then somebody racing with a chip on their shoulder. I think, Larson's pretty sad, but I think he's also going to be pretty angry as well. Heading to Gateway, missing out on a Cup Series race last weekend. So I'm going to put Larson in my 3, racing with a little bit of vengeance up there.
Awesome. Great stuff as always, RJ. We thank you for giving us some of your time on a Tuesday. Normally we've got you at 4:20s our time on Monday, but you made some things happen for you to chat some NASCAR with us today, and we appreciate that, and we'll catch back up with you next Monday after that race up there at Gateway and, of course, the Xfinity race in Portland. We appreciate you, my friend. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening.
Yes, sir. You guys as well. Take care.
All right, that's RJ Starcevic. Make sure you go follow him on Instagram, the NASCAR Report over there on Instagram. He also has a Twitter channel as well. I believe it's just at RJ Starcevic, but you can Google it and you can figure it out. Coming up next, it's going to be the PCB Hobby Takeover with the owner, Todd Mueller. We'll be right back.
What's up? ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
All right, now, Jeff, have you avoided James Hale at the baseball tournament?
Yeah, we got to hear that.
Is he trying to hunt you down and get you access to food and drink and such?
You know what? I have not seen Coach yet. I know Tuesday was a tough day for him. You know, he planned on coming and watching Alabama play a lot at the Hoover Met.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, clear skies and a low of 75 with a light breeze around 6 miles per hour coming out of the north. For tomorrow morning, mostly sunshine and a temp near 87. In the afternoon and evening, a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour, sunny and a high around 88. For Thursday, mostly sunshine and a high of 87. This weather forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
It's time for a new kitchen from Kitchen Designs. Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach offers full-service cabinets, countertops, and flooring, plus cash and carry cabinets available the very next day. Kitchen Designs has been family-owned and operated for over 20 years. Visit their showroom at 7934 Front Beach Road and on Lynn Drive in Santa Rosa Beach. Or call Kitchen Designs, 850-775-4150.
From the pros to the future pros, we're your home team station for home team sports. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back. You're in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. And now it is time for the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd Mueller. Todd, how are you doing on this Tuesday afternoon? Normally a Monday guest with us at 5:20s, but we just moved it 24 hours later to Tuesday at 5:20. How are you doing this afternoon?
Doing good. You know, as I always say, happy Monday, but I guess today it's happy Tuesday. Hopefully everybody had a good Monday. It was Memorial Day, and we were excited to have the shop open actually yesterday.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people come in. A lot of people are on vacation right now. So the tourists have come into town and have flocked upon us.
Yeah.
So, it's been pretty good. I've been buying a lot of collections, selling a lot of cards, actually, a lot of sports cards lately. Had several groups come in and buy us out pretty good, which has been great. And we've also gotten some new collections in and stuff like that. But as always, we're streaming all the time, getting our new headquarters set up and doing some streaming from there. I believe all the coin streams will be from starting from there tomorrow evening. So there will be no more streaming at the shop. It'll be all at the headquarters.
Let's go.
Coins, yeah. So we're super excited about that.
So the whole building's like, y'all have got it to where
half and half. Basically,
okay.
It's half warehouse / processing areas and half studios, up front offices, things like that.
Dang, y'all had a good construction crew then, huh?
Oh yeah. It's all pretty much done. I think we got a few little plates to put on the wall still, and some bathroom work. But I think other than that, we're pretty much locked and loaded. So super exciting. We do have a lot going on. I haven't even checked the PCB Hobby schedule, but obviously we have that up on the website, and that is current. I believe there are several new releases coming out as far as Pokemon and Magic and various things. So check that out when you can. We also have new products. I believe tomorrow is Select Basketball, which is very highly anticipated. So I believe that shoots out tomorrow. We've obviously been doing a lot of Bowman and getting a lot of that in, so that's been good too. Check us out live on eBay, PCB Hobby, of course, as always. And then, of course, PCB Hobby live on eBay as well for comics. We've been doing a ton of comic streams. We've been buying several vintage collections. And so we're doing a lot of vintage stuff. And then, of course, new. Tomorrow, we should be running New Comic Wednesday. Every Wednesday is when the new comics come out. And so we should have a live stream going tomorrow at some point for that.
Now, did y'all, I think Bill mentioned last week with us that y'all were going to have a 24-hour marathon stream for comics for Memorial Day?
So we talked about that. We did what's called a slab-tastic instead.
Oh, okay.
And so what we did is mostly slabs.
All right.
CGC slabs. And I believe it went for 8 hours.
It was
hefty.
Still a marathon.
Yeah, it was hefty. But we had a good time and sold a lot of slabs off. So that was really cool. And we got a lot of new inventory in. So as always, we tell everybody, check with us. Even if you come to the shop and you don't see what you want, ask.
Yeah.
We have a lot on our eBay store too. So anyway, so that's going really well with that. And again, we're filling our eBay store up with lots of different things too. So we're getting a lot of coin inventory in too. So anyways, so that's kind of what's going on right now. Nothing too major, but definitely busy.
There you go, man. That's always busy. It always has my mind like, whoa, so much going on. And again, you can find it all right here at PCB Hobby, right here in your backyard, or you can go to eBay Live and you can just circulate through the different streaming.
And we do have local pickups. So, you can locally pick it up. We do it all the time.
And that's how often I know I have ordered stuff from eBay or Amazon or whatever it may be and be like, man, I really want this item now, Well, if you buy it from PCB Hobby, you can make that happen, provided that you buy it at the right time of day.
Absolutely.
I know we've asked you this before, but it's been a while. So for those listening, tell them a little bit about how you got into collecting.
Well, believe it or not, I ended up starting collecting cards first. So this is how it all went down, and I remember it vividly. I was on the bus. I was in 7th grade. I was on the bus, and I saw these kids trading baseball cards. And what they would do is they would have certain baseball cards, and they would want one guy, and the other person would want a different guy, and so they would trade them. And my best friend, who's still my best friend to this day, his name is Zach. Well, anyway, Zach, he said to me, he said, you should collect baseball cards. And I said, well, what's it about? Sports players and this and that. So he gave me a Mark Grace rookie.
There you go.
Mark Grace rookie. It was technically an 89 Don Russ. And so that was my first card. And I went nuts. Started collecting. The next year, I had my own baseball card shop. I'm not kidding. I had my own baseball card shop. In fact, I did so well that I had a spot in my dad's Honda shop. Unfortunately, my dad went out of business, but my sports card shop was doing well enough. We had to go rent another small space for me to have a sports card shop.
How did your dad react to that?
He had to sign a lease for me. So shortly after I was into the baseball card business, I went over with my brother to a friend of his who had some coin books, and I ended up buying the coin books from him. And my uncle said, let me take you metal detecting. So we went metal detecting as well and found some coins. And so he was showing me how and telling me stories about finding coins and this and that. So he had a coin collection and everything. And so that kind of got me into coins. Well, my dad laid down to me at some point because my brother went and complained. My brother's older by 3 years. And he went and complained and said, I wanted to collect coins. Why does Todd get to collect everything? Because I already had sports cards in my baseball card shop and all that stuff. And he's like, you're right. My dad told me I'm not allowed to collect coins.
So
literally.
So this is why you're like the coins are at the top now, huh? For you.
I had to hand over the coins I had bought to my brother.
Wow.
But to be fair, I bought them from his friend.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I handed him over. So he goes off in the military. Fast forward like 3 years. He goes off to the military. He's 18. I'm 15. I go up in the attic, pull all of his coins out, which wasn't that many at the time, and wrote him a letter and said, I'm taking all the coins, and my daughter's calling me right now. In fact, that's hilarious. She's probably like, oh my gosh, don't tell that story. I took all his coins, and then I turned around and gave him some sports cards. And
so it was a trade.
So it was a trade. Of course, what I gave him was junk.
Yeah.
But, I still gave him the sports cards, wrote him a letter. Anyway, so he gets out of the military 4 years later, and he's like, whatever. And so I start collecting coins at that point, and I started getting pretty heavy into it. It ebbed and flowed for years. I was buying on eBay and stuff like that. But it was good. It was good, and I had got a lot of cool pieces and stuff like that. But I always wanted certain things. I was a believer in collecting sets and a believer in collecting, like all the Mercury dimes and all the pennies and stuff like that. Of course, always missing the hard ones and stuff like that. And it made me realize how difficult it was as a kid, even though it was cheap back then to do it, that I really didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And so it took a lot of years to figure out what I was really doing. And now, I feel like, I have a lot of knowledge but that's really how I started. I started in baseball cards and worked my way up through coins and even had a sports card shop when I was, 13, 14 years old. So they did a write-up on me in the newspaper, the whole deal. And all my friends would come and hang out, and it was a lot of fun.
There you go. And just continued that dream on. And now you've got shops
I've
where
been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for years. So it's just amazing that I really followed, my dream as a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm actually doing what I dreamed I would do. So
yeah.
It's kind of cool in one facet, and amazing in another facet.
I would definitely you could make a combination of the words, and I think it would fit perfectly right there. What would you say is your favorite sports card of all time? Would it be that Mark Grace? Like not necessarally of a financial value. That's why it's your favorite.
The problem for me is that a lot of it's financial.
I know.
That's. What really got me into this was the financial side of things, ultimately. And I hate that it comes down to that, but, there's some iconic cards. I think one of the most iconic cards I always wanted and just reveled in was a Nolan Ryan rookie.
Yeah.
And I've got like 5 of them. Yeah. So it's like,
so once you get
that big a deal. It's not that big a deal anymore. But I think if I really think back, I think that was one of the bigger ones. Like, boy, I never thought I'd have a Mickey Mantle rookie. I never, I didn't dream like that. I dreamt more like what I actually could obtain, and I can now obtain a Mickey Mantle rookie. That's not, I have one, but it's what's obtainable when you're back then. And so I think iconically it'd be the Nolan Ryan rookie.
How much different is card collecting, sports card collecting, and then we'll ask the same question about coins, but how much different is it from when you first started?
When I first started, they didn't even have PSA.
Oh.
So they didn't even have grading.
There was no such thing as grading.
I had no graded cards in my shop.
Wow.
Yeah, when I first started. I remember I was 13 at the time, so 13, 14. And so if you look at it in time-wise, you're talking about 1990, 89. And I don't even think PSA was around yet.
So when did grading, because I remember.
I think in the mid-90s.
Yeah, because I remember, was that a Beckett thing or was that PSA? Because I remember the Beckett being like the Bible of sports card collectors.
Beckett controlled the market on sports cards when in values. Mm-hmm. And the reason they did is because there was no internet at the time.
Yeah.
There technically was, but there wasn't.
But we weren't using it.
Yeah. Once eBay actually came out, and I was in the Navy in 94 through 98. Let's call it 97, 98. eBay started to actually gain a little bit of wheels and people really started using it. And so let's call that 25, 26 years ago. That changed the market. What that did is that showed you that everybody had a Mark Grace rookie. What that showed you is everybody had a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie. And so the problem is now everybody had one, not realizing that everybody had one. So if you wanted one, there was 1 million people you could buy one from through eBay. Online from Des Moines, Iowa, or Montana, or California, wherever, and they could just ship it to you. And so it almost ruined the card market in a way. They figured out that, oh my God, they had mass produced and overproduced everything. And so that kind of killed the card market for a few years, but I was out of it at the time, so it was fine. When the card market came back and started producing serial numbered cards, started producing autographs, pieces of jersey, things like that, that reinvigorated the market on that. And coins never really went through that. Coins ebb and flow based on silver and gold, which, by the way, if you haven't looked at silver and gold lately, holy moly.
Tell them.
Silver's at 32 right now an ounce. Gold's almost at 34 or 2,400 an ounce. I mean, this is ridiculous times right now. And so if you hadn't been investing in it, you better jump in quick because
what's that cutoff? Like, when is too late? I mean, is it too late?
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. It might be. I don't know. I think we still got some run in it because the election's coming up this year.
Yeah.
But I'm not really a politics type guy, but I'll definitely give you my opinion. And my opinion is that the politics help drive it too.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so sports cards itself, iconically, that was the one thing. Iconically, I always wanted a 1916 Mercury dime, so I'll expand a little bit further.
Yeah.
And I always wanted an 09 SVDB penny. I always wanted one of those because it was the key date of the series. But I didn't have $200 when I was a kid.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. And my dad, love him to death, but he wasn't I learned a lot of business stuff from him, but he just wasn't that great a business guy. And I know he was the best dad ever.
Do you think that's what helped you become the businessman that you are, though?
Absolutely, 100%. I looked a lot at my dad and said, I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. So, again, love my dad to death. My dad was a wonderful dad. I mean, always took care of me. Oh, we were always out doing stuff, just busy and fun. And my dad was the greatest dad ever. But business-wise, I just don't think he fully had it. He was a great guy, but man, he just didn't have it. And so, have what it takes to be something big.
Yeah.
He could talk the talk, and he could definitely sell, but he just was always working for somebody else. He was never doing it for him, And so, I learned a lot from that. I don't even know where I was going with that, but my point was I learned a lot in business from all that, and he never directed me in the right place to, Todd, why don't you buy the rare ones? Why don't you buy the ones that are going to go up in value? He didn't understand that method, and so I had to figure that out over the years. Again, not gloating, but I own like 8 09 SVDBs.
Yeah.
But I own 8 of them because it was a holy grail coin for me, and I couldn't get enough of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so it's not about, I've got all these great coins. It's more about, it was something that I really, really cared about as a kid and didn't have access to until I had my own coin shop in Spanish Fort. So now you would understand why I would hoard them, because I could never get them. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to feel like part of the collector, that's what you need to feel. What do you feel about, what you're collecting? And to me, I wanted these certain things that I could never get when I was younger, and now, and it's not about money. I waited and they finally came through the door. So
and now
amazing story. And now they're mine. Yeah. So amazing stories. Now we get them and we turn around and sell them all the time. I don't keep every one of them like I used to, and stuff like that. And I just enjoy it. I enjoy looking at my coins. I enjoy talking coins. I enjoy, a lot about it. And that's what I think makes you a great collector. So it's interesting what I started in and what I ended up in. But I mean, I'm in the card market too. I do save cards. I mean, I do have my own personal collection of cards, but, I don't collect like most people collect. Most people like the newest rookies or the hottest thing. I want to gamble and open boxes and do this and do that. I just can't get into that. Love Ohtani, love some of these guys, and love high-end
There's still
cards.
room for error
There's still
for them.
room for error.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Vintage.
That's my. So I only learned that over the years, and yeah, I've seen some stuff, that's for sure.
Well, speaking of coins, because I love when we can sit here and talk a little coins, especially when we're kind of in this slower part of the sports season. So there's not as much that we can tie into with sports, and people know that they can go to PCB Hobby and get everything. But I really enjoy listening to you talk about these coins because I feel like it's some of the most interesting stuff for me personally. So for our listeners, anytime Todd is on, you can always text in your questions to 850-215-6290. But I wanted to know what is the most common coin traded over there at PCB Hobby?
The most common coin that typically is traded is just silver. So we're going to keep it a little bit generalized. Call it silver bullion, call it half dollars, quarters, dimes, pre-1964 stuff. That's pretty much the most common traded thing. Whether someone's selling it to us or whether we're selling it to them, that's fairly much the most common thing that we deal with.
Gotcha. And did you have a question, Caveman Rick? All right. And then our final one here, seeing that we're, man, I did not notice that we were running out of time here. But what are some noticeable differences for you when you're going to these shows? The difference in like a straight coin show and a card show?
So card show, there's a lot younger folks there, and they're all very cutthroat, and they're wanting to trade. They're always wanting to trade up. They don't have a lot of give and take, and
they believe their value is the highest every single time.
And most coin shows, you can pretty much wheel and deal.
Yeah.
Because you have mostly older guys who have been doing it a long time.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different in that aspect.
Wheeling and dealing seems more fun.
They are. It's more. Yeah. You know, I enjoy coin shows because I know I can buy right.
Yeah.
I know I can. Card shows, they are tough. I'd rather just sell at a card show.
Yeah, just sell at a card show and wheel and deal at a coin show. Right. Oh, man, that is great stuff. Well, again, man, we always appreciate you coming down tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Disney Lorcana.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep, 7 to 10 right over
and
there.
I believe the new set is... I believe the new set's out. I think we're in pre-release right now. So, anyways.
There you go.
Chapter 4.
Man, so much stuff going down over there at PCB Hobby. In fact, we'll recap what's going on coming up in the next segment real quick. But Todd, thank you so much for stopping by today, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Go check out PCB Hobby. It is a great location, and if you can't get out there to it, then just go to eBay Live or whatnot. Type in PCB Hobby. You can also go to Instagram, Facebook, all the social medias. Type in PCB Hobby, and they will help you with whatever need that you have. You're listening. We're all listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. This is the Afternoon Underdogs. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida is celebrating 7 years of broadcasting history by giving you a chance to win the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off.
That is gone!
Starting Monday, June 3rd. Listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to qualify for the grand prize. 2 amazing tickets in the Xfinity Club to see the Atlanta Braves Saturday, September 7th versus the Toronto Blue Jays. Plus hotel and spending cash from ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
That boot store has the perfect Father's Day gift for that special dad. Select from one of the largest collections of Western wear and Carhartt work clothes in the Panhandle. That boot store has been in business for 60 years and feels they've just begun. Shop that boot store this Father's Day and every day. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 till 5:30. Next to Bill Burr Kia, 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
Chop on, Braves fans.
That is gone!
Since 2017, your home for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back into the doghouse. This is the Afternoon Underdogs, and you're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 right here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm so glad that we still have this song on the hotkeys because I put this in for Boston Tim, and you know we had Boston Tim calling in not too long ago or earlier in the show, so we're definitely appreciative of everyone who listens and anyone who calls in 850-215-6290. Do want to ask this trivia question. Maybe we can get a winner in the final 14 minutes of the show. We've got a lot to try to dive into. We'll see if we can make it happen or not. But the trivia question that I had lined up for today, Bill Walton, who passed away sadly at the age of 71 due to cancer, great at calling college and NBA games, but he was known for calling basketball games. However, he did call a baseball game. What two teams were playing when he was on the call? What two teams were playing baseball when he was calling? I believe it was with Jason Benetti. That might give away who one of the teams were, because I believe this was a regional broadcast that he was on, and it was 70s night. He was wearing a 70s week, I think, and he was wearing a tie-dye shirt, all that kind of good jazz. And do you know who it is?
No, but I was thinking he's more of a 60s kind of guy, like I said, with a tie-dye, than like a 70s dude when I picture, Walton.
But they were celebrating 70s.
Yeah, I get all that. But the way he talks about stuff, like when I was in college, we heard colors, we tasted sounds. That's actually a pretty good impression there, Rick. That's a pretty good impression. But 850-215-6290. We've got Swampy Jack's $10 off coupon for you and a swag bag. Also want to remind you again, tomorrow night at PCB Hobby, Wednesday night Disney Lorcana. Then Thursday night is One Piece from 7 to 10. Friday night Magic is going on starting at 6, and then Saturday they got Pokemon, they've got Dragon Ball Z, and Saturday night Digimon. So all kind of things. It's almost like a blast from the past when I read things like that. Hey, real quick, I got some local news that I saw popped up on my phone too. I guess a couple hours ago that local I don't know if it's the county commissioners or what have you, but they voted 4-1 to demolish the Marina Civic Center.
Oh, they're going to get rid of the Civic Center.
Get rid of it. Yeah. Finally made a decision on it. So it looks like that's going to be going away. It's been sitting there derelict.
That's what I was about to say is you would love to see that kind of be renovated, but also at the same time, maybe something new there would be a lot better. I attended a ton of events there when I was younger. So kind of sad, but also I guess you can look at it from the silver line. I know that there's going to be split views across the board from this, but it could also be like Hurricane Michael. Like no one wanted what came with Hurricane Michael, all of the damage, and how many people are still dealing with the aftermath of that. Still people that are living in campers and having to figure out their day to day, and we're talking almost 6 years afterwards. But there's been a lot of good that's come from it too. So maybe that can, thank you there for the breaking news update with the Marina Civic Center that will be demolished, right? Yeah.
So voted 4-1. So apparently one person was saying keep it for whatever reason. The other 4 said, yeah, we just need to do something else.
Yeah. Well, let's go over to Facebook and check out the best and worst of the weekend. And we'll just go over our 6 comments here. I normally put a Facebook post up on Monday or Tuesday and just let you guys comment on there. We read your comments off. James Kelly says the best was Chase Elliott winning the Xfinity race, and the worst is a tie between the Boston Celtics making the NBA Finals, #Go Lakers, and Acuna Jr. going down. Brian Bramlett says best, Angel Hernandez retiring. The best was so good, there is no worst. Kyle Wright says best, Reds sweep the Dodgers, and the worst, the Celtics cakewalk. Richard Bodon says the best, Joseph Newgarden winning back-to-back Indy 500 on the last lap. That was a great race. And the worst, another Ronald Acuna Jr. tearing his ACL. For Chef Ross, the best was the 10-year-old at Boston Tim's party saying he was Larry Legend playing Papa Shot. And then the worst, by far and very sad, Grayson Murray, who was the Korn Ferry Tour golfer who withdrew from the tournament after Friday's round and ended up dying by suicide. Yeah, so tough stuff there, and I can agree with Chef Ross that was a worst. Danny G. Dan Gonzalez says best, Rangers 2 games from advancing, and his worst, same as Kyle Wright, the Celtics and their cakewalk. For me, let's see here. I think one of the best things for me over the weekend was watching women's lacrosse. And I didn't watch a ton of it. I probably watched the second half. And what got me to even start watching it was the little things that they were wearing over their eyes. They were kind of like goggles. But I started to get into it because I was trying to learn the rules. I'd never watched lacrosse, messed around with some of the sticks and passing it around and stuff. But I thought that it was very interesting, like a combination of all sports. So I'm gonna say that was one of the best. I mean, there's so many best because I watched so much sports this weekend, though.
How about just the freedom to be able to watch the sports this weekend?
There you go.
Sit around and just chill and
look at you with that politically correct answer. I'm joking. No, that's a great answer. Also, Alabama taking down Tennessee in the Super Regional when they were the 14 seed. Tennessee was a 3. The Super Regionals,
late, like, was it like 14 inning game or whatever?
That was on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. It was a 14-inning game, and Bama ends up pulling it out in the bottom of the 14th. Bases loaded, a little chopper to the shortstop from our center fielder, and ends up scoring the run. And then in the next game, they hit a grand slam in the top of the first inning. Rain delay for a while, and then Bama ends up coming out on top, I believe 4-1. But the Super Regionals in general, and then now, hey, you've got for Bama and Florida State fans, we weren't able to settle it on the football field, but we've got a regional coming up here in Tallahassee, and Bama and Florida State are both in that regional. In fact, if we find some time here after we go over Caveman Rick's best and worst of the weekend, I'll go through all of those regionals and some little tidbits about it. But what was your best and worst of the weekend, Caveman Rick?
You were talking about the lacrosse that you had watched, the women's lacrosse. This is something that caught my eye, and I noticed this past weekend about lacrosse as well. Okay, so when you watch lacrosse, like in college and whatnot, okay, if you watch the goaltenders, they have the same gear on as the regular like forwards and defensemen. They don't have a ton of gear on. But when you watch Major League Lacrosse, the goaltenders look like the Michelin Man on steroids with all their padding. Why is the difference? I don't get it.
Okay, so I found this out. I was watching women's lacrosse, and men's lacrosse, they wear helmets and pads and all of that stuff. And women's lacrosse, they just wear the goggles. Like, I don't even know if they had gloves on or anything like that. So I think that it's the speed of the game. I think that is the answer to that. When I'm thinking of worst, obviously Bill Walton, Ronald Acuna Jr., you know, those things are terrible. I think that the Braves play in general lately has been eligible for a worst. Let's see, what are some, I'm not even going to say that the Pacers got swept because I figured it was either going to be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep by the Boston Celtics. But the fact that both conference finals are on the brink, on the edge of being swept, then yeah, there's that. Also, how about a best for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever finally getting their first win? We've got Rick Ty on the line with us. What's going on, Rick?
Hey, what's up, my brother?
Not a whole lot. What you got going on? You playing trivia with us?
Well, I'm going to give it a shot.
All right. What two teams were playing when Bill Walton was calling a baseball game?
It was was it White Sox and Angels?
Yes, sir. You are 100% correct. He was on the call with Jason Vanetti. This was a while ago. I believe the White Sox ended up getting the win. But yeah, just trying to search through some trivia for Bill Walton, and that was the correct answer. But Rick, when was the last time you won trivia?
Well, last week, I believe. I think this is my third round. It's getting a little scary.
Yeah, well, we can actually only let you win once every 30 days, my friend. That's why I had to ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What did I win? I'm talking to Lucinda now.
Yeah, because I think it's been about a week and a half since you won.
Yeah, it has, because I remember I came by and picked up that bag.
Hey, but no worries. You helped someone get the right answer, though, my friend, and you will know in about 20 days that you're eligible to win again.
Well, knowing that, moving forward, then I'll quit calling unless it's been 30 days.
Hey, don't ever quit calling, man. We'll just let you know if it's been 30 days.
Calling or just, be a little judicious, and when you hear about a prize that you really want to win, maybe call in then and try to get that.
Yeah.
If it was up to us, we'd let you win every day, but these lawyers always got something to say about something, don't they?
Yeah.
And keep tuned. We got some more of those Braves tickets we're giving away.
Yeah, we're going to be giving away a ton of Braves tickets this year.
Yeah, that's another thing, too. I noticed that the big giveaway is early September. We're going to 2 games in late September, so I'm going to leave that one alone.
Yeah, let's see here. All right, so let me tell you, we're going to be giving away tickets in June to a game on June 28th. Don't know who they're playing. July 5th, so the day after July 4th. August 24th, and then September 28th. And then I don't think that's even including our 7-year send-off, which will be September 5th, I believe, against the Blue Jays. So we've got a lot of tickets to give away.
Yeah, that 28th game, now that might be something because the games we're going to is September 26th and 27th.
Oh, maybe you just try to get the 28th and then you go to the whole daggum series.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Rick, man, as always, I appreciate you calling. Real quick, though, how do you think the Braves fare without Ronald Acuna?
Well, everybody keeps flashing back to 21, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that like listening to my wife just told me. She said, we won without him in 21. Well, yeah, we did, but we had Peterson and all those guys. But we'll just have to wait and see, man. AA knows what he's doing, so we will see. And I hate to knock the captain's Phillies out of first, but it's going to happen before the playoffs.
I feel like this is the year to kind of, you know what, don't even worry about the NL East. Let's be the Phillies and let the Phillies be the Braves. Let's switch roles for just a little bit here, so that we can make a deeper run into the playoffs. I think, you know, being on top of the NL East for 162 games is fun and all, but making a deep run into the playoffs is a lot more fun.
It is. Makes it exciting. It sure does.
And then if we lose the NL East, if we don't continue that streak, then people can stop with the comparisons of Snicker and Bobby Cox.
I think I started that.
You were one of them that started it, that's for sure. Rick, we're out of time, my friend. Thank you so much for calling in, and tell your beautiful wife we said hello.
I will do it, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Yes, sir, man. That is a... Go
28th, it's a Friday, and against the Pirates. So maybe some O'Neill Cruz, some Paul Skeens, see what's going on.
I'm not even saying nothing no more about these games. Like, I hype the people up. Hey, you know, they're playing the Nationals.
You know, and hey, maybe on the 27th of June, maybe... all
right, that's enough.
Albies will go down, or somebody else.
That's enough. That is enough. My goodness, man. It's terrible that they've got me paired up with this Phillies guy back here running the board, and I got to try to be nice, and he's just over here egging me on, trying to get the whole dang Braves team injured before the next appearance for you guys. We never got to your worst of the weekend. Did you have a worst of the weekend?
Probably the Phillies dropping 2 to 3 of the Colorado Rockies.
To the Rockies, yeah, right? Yeah. I was just kind of taking up for you guys earlier saying, hey, well, at least they're beating the teams that they should. And then Friday night, I believe it was, or was it Friday, y'all lost, and I think
Rockies, I believe,
Bryce Harper got thrown out early in the game.
Yeah, he got like in the first inning or something. Yeah, he did a helmet slam. He did a helmet spike.
Yeah.
And basically spiking the helmet's what got him tossed.
Yeah, and he just wanted to have a conversation, he said.
Well, I mean, how many other times does that happen? I mean, it's the first inning, you know, you're kind of setting the table as the umpire and how you're calling things. Okay, let him have his little fit, and then we'll see what happens.
Hey, that's going to do it for us. I thank you guys for riding along with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow at 4. Coach James Hale Show is going to be live at 7. Then you've got the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey and Jay Henley at 11. Of course, the Afternoon Underdogs back tomorrow at 4. Your Atlanta Braves are coming up next. Just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
ESPN Northwest Florida is celebrating 7 years of broadcasting history by giving you a chance to win the Atlanta Braves 7-year send-off.
That is gone!
Starting Monday, June 3rd, listen weekdays at 7:40, 12:40, and 5:40 to qualify for the grand prize. 2 amazing tickets in the Xfinity Club to see the Atlanta Braves Saturday, September 7th versus the Toronto Blue Jays.